Okay, we finna do the requested read and channeling into the producer, I never even heard of him. I never even knew about him until someone asked me to do this, and then I googled and I was like, oh. Okay. And then I exit out and I just wrote his name down and tried to figure out his date of birth, and that was it. But I think he goes by Ian Rylett or some sort, and he was accused of, model molestation, accusations of that sort. Like I guess he was a producer of an industry of young women, young girls, actually, not women. They weren't women at all. They were young girls. And I feel like straight out, soon as I began, there was another person that was involved. There was a ringleader. There was a spire. What? See, I'm not even running around. I'm sweating already. I don't like when that happens, but it's a good thing. So soon as I start to shuffle the cards, there is something with this guy, with the situation, his family. There was someone in particular in his family. And a lover, a partner in crime could definitely be a part of your family. You don't have to be just blood. You know what I'm saying? But there was definitely a female ringleader that definitely helped him. I spy these young women, spy these different women, not women, young girls, or us, or the mother first. She would get in contact with the mother first. She would speak to women that had little girls, that had children, and the women would be very vulnerable. The women would be very vulnerable and just very easy to talk to. So this woman that he was engaging with, that he did a lot of things with, he conquered some things. I feel like she was the ringleader, he was the boss, you know what I'm saying? But she also had her little position within his company behind the scene. Of course, they were together in on this. I don't think anyone know about this particular female, though, this woman that he endorsed. See, they're happy together right here, and that's her. I don't really like showing cards because that's not even the point. But for some reason, they worked together to bring home the funds, to bring home the success, the recognition, and the happy moments when this was going down. However long it was lasting and however many times they got away with it, they got away with a lot of things. So she would spy out women that had little girls, and the mother had to be a little single. Would specifically look for women that were vulnerable and possibly single, no father figure around, just her daughter, even searching the internet, Facebook, even just she was a spy. She was the person that went out and got it undercoverly, going to recruit without the people knowing what's behind all of that recruitment. Like, she was really top tier in disguise, a whole mask. And throughout this whole process, I feel as though he would hold it down. He would hold her image down. Like, he would hold her image down because she has something big over his head that will blast any and everything that he ever began and started. From the top, his back has been turned. He never showed his true intentions towards this whole ordeal, towards this whole company, towards this whole business, this foundation that they built from the bottom, built from the bottom, starting with his own kids, his own family, his own eye winking of his own family members. It's kind of like an obsession that he grew into. I'm gonna say grew into because his urge and his feeling of being lustful over fresh meat and fresh blood was just something he has been dealing with since a kid, and also a grandfather of his who was very disgusting and nasty. An older person. It skipped over the father. It went back to a grandfather that could have continued this curse amongst his bloodline and him in general. But there's the first part of that. That's what popped out first. I don't believe a lot of people knew about this woman, though. There was a woman that kind of got him business on the side. Yeah, no one knew about this woman that gathered women together. Oh my gosh, she is such a flawed affront. She would go out to dinner. She would take these people on an outing. She had it all and wrapped in a bag. She knew what exactly to do. She looked very, well put together, rich, classy, about her business, and very mysterious and sophisticated, like very like demanding and intimidating of some sort. Yes, she had a friend too. She had a homegirl too. Okay, she had a homegirl. She could really switch it up as well. She could switch it up and speak to these women about young girls needing to grow up and be superstars, what the girls deserve in this world. We can conquer the world. She would like kind of bribe them or manipulate them into thinking business together. This woman is a freak too. This woman is a weirdo too. Like behind closed doors, she also indulged in little girl activities. She was very, very disgusting as well. They both were disgusting. They both had a thing with these with the women. One thing about it, he didn't know how to he didn't have full control over his money. One thing about it, I feel like he was the money maker in the past, but he lost a lot of money, and he also didn't have full access to it. So she was kind of probably manipulating the money. I feel like this woman had a lot to do with his money and was manipulating his money, and a lot of other people also took advantage of his money. I don't even care about his money. I don't care about his money, but that's something that's speaking right now. Like, I feel as though when he got caught or whatever happened to him, when he just got out of the picture and it was just them and they had a little bit of more money and a little bit more action to get involved in before it was all what a lot of people swept this under the rug by getting paid off. A lot of people swept this under the rug real easily and kept it like real quiet or real easily case closed type shit. Like, like swept it under the rug a little bit. It's deeper than what a lot of people know. And I feel like the people that kind of swept it under the rug was, I'm not going to say how, but important people kind of got a little, they got handed money under the table. I can't explain it because it's not supposed to be said. It's a secret. It's supposed to be kept a secret. But she did her thing with keeping people's mouth closed and keeping people fed with the secret and with the manipulation. It's kind of like some people knew exactly what they were doing, her as well, but him is the main character. Okay, so this is how it probably got out, because I feel like a particular woman that his chick got involved with, that had, they had a meeting over drinks, over dinner. They communicated, they exchanged business information, they exchanged getting around, manipulation. They just explained a lot of shit with this business and this company that these people had grew from the ground up. They're sick and ill from the jump. And a particular woman that she met that they got involved in the group, in the modeling, in the production. They felt a little guilt. They felt so bad. They couldn't stand to look at themselves and their daughter, their child, or their child friends, and just imagine what was really going on behind closed doors, with secret pictures, with secret videos, with secret images of the body parts put together, like as if they were like comparing and contrasting. It's disgusting. The whole booklet portfolio out there just will give you a whole bad taste in your mouth. One thing about it, a family that was involved, they got a lot of money out of it. They conquered a lot of success and stability from it. But for some reason, they felt a little. Yes, they were in the game. You know how you play the game, but then that guilt and that regret start to build up, that you can't take that guilt. Like when you've done something wrong or doing something wrong, and the child, it's wearing on the child's face, then that guilt starts to build up. And this family, this woman, that guilt began to build up, so they tried to trick. They tried to play a trickster type of role to So they tried to flip it. They had a plan, guys. Everyone had a plan because it was coming out either way or another. Because certain children were very uncomfortable. Certain children could not communicate with their parents anymore. Certain children were feeling like, certain little girls were feeling like really out of the ordinary, and one of the parents really got really sick in the stomach. You know, that karma snuck up on her stomach and her feelings and emotions, and looking at her people and her family like, we got to get out of this. We can't do this anymore. You know, so it's kind of like they tried to manipulate the energy by pointing the, of course, he's the main character, Ian Rylett or whatever, how you say it, pointing the finger all at him, they fixed the story. They came up with the story. That way everyone else can walk away untouched, unnoticed. And see, they didn't want to cause a scene. They didn't want to make a big ass scene and it be drama behind it. So what they did is they made it to where it comes out, you know, it could come out. We're gonna push this button that way it can broadcast out what is going on, and all fingers pointing at the CEO, you know, the owner, the Ian Rylett person, the guy, the head dude in charge. He's gonna take all the charges because he's a little slow in the head as well. And then on top of that, he is manipulated by this woman. He is very controlled, and this woman has him on lock. Like, she's disgusting herself. We're not here to judge anyone, but you know, the energy behind that spirit is very disgusting. And there was a lot of nasty rituals going on between that company and these young, vulnerable young women. And then a handful of parents knew about the manipulation in the scheme, but they felt as though it would be great. It would be great for their daughter to experience it at this age. They so nasty. They have some photos hidden, though. They have a lot of paperwork hidden and stories hidden on plots. Oh my God, they made a story. I see the story. It's kind of like it's saying like, okay, I'm going to just throw out a name. Amber or Alex or Ashley or Asia or Angie. Something with an A. And then it's kind of like they had a story of sexual body parts, of the way that the girl make them feel, or the way that she looks at them and how they look at her. And it was weird. They write shit down. I feel like they hid a lot of stuff. They buried a lot of stuff. They have a lot of it's not in the trash. It's buried. It's in a safe. It's kept put away, and it's done that way so that it wouldn't get put out. A lot of manipulation and strategizing of this story so that the secret could come out and the guilt can be rising off of the people, the family, the woman, the two women. And you know what's so crazy, guys? All along while they're planning and trying to put this shit to a rest because they feel as though someone's finna crack, someone out of the little woman's group that they recruited is finna crack because she can no longer do this. She's sweating. She's stressed. She having anxiety. She having nightmares. She can't do this shit no more. I see it. She cannot do this no more. But this other woman is very strong. The woman that was in contact with Ian Rylett is very strong. She got it going on. Like she not really sweating and shit. She's been there, done that, manipulated a lot of men in her life. She don't care. She's good at this. This is something she does. It's like she yearns off of lustful, young sexual energy and men and children, but girls, women, young girls, and like teenage girls, like not. And then so he just sitting back. It's kind of like he just go with the flow. It's kind of like he is so intelligent but so out of the ordinary that you would never know what's going on with this dude's mind or his thoughts or his next move. And it's kind of like, as long as he be quiet, there's nothing to be said. There's nothing to be blamed or accused of. Like, it's kind of like he just let the lady or this woman make the calls and call the shots and throw him out there into the wolves, and he just take it and suck it in. It's kind of like she had his ass hypnotized. She had his ass in control. It's kind of like she thought of the plan, she created the idea, and he went with it because he's all about that type of stuff. He's all about freaked outness and feeling as though he could, you know, they have groups where they get off on these little girls' pictures and videos and poses, and eyes were very significant. Let me speak softly. I'm getting too hyper. I don't like that. That's because they had an adrenaline rush. When the girls began to model, they had an adrenaline rush, especially him. He would get hypnotized. He would sweat. He would get aroused by the eyes of these young girls, and he would always say, look me in my eyes, look the camera in the eyes, look at us in the eyes. It's kind of like an eye thing for this man. And of course, him and that woman, they had so many magical, intimate energy what is it called, transferring from one another. And of course, the girls' videos going home late at night after working so hard, just sitting there having sex with the videos playing on a big screen. Yes. So they plotted, they all left, and they all disappeared or left, took money, they all put everything, buried everything in a safe. Somewhere it's tucked away. Sorry. It's a lot of paperwork hidden. It's a lot of documents hidden. It's a lot of signatures, because these women, these young girls, I keep calling them women. That's how they looked at them. They treated them like that. It was one in particular that they really treated like a woman, and she's devastated to this day. She don't even want to look at herself. She's afraid of her own body till this day. Oh my goodness. These girls need therapy. Those girls need therapy, because one in particular with dark hair, black hair, and skinny, and I'm sure a lot of them was skinny, but slim, white, can't even breathe with herself, like be confident and feel her self-love. Is kind of like she is afraid to touch herself. She's afraid to look at herself in the mirror. She's afraid to flourish and be a young woman or a young girl. And it's because of these devastated moments, these scenes, the memories that replay in her head, him grabbing, I don't want to say all that that stuff. I don't want to, say too much to freak people out, but they asked for the video, so I'm going to do it. One thing about it, he was very quick, though. He was very quick with things. Like, he was so quick. Like, he was so fast. Like, he had anxiety. He had a lot of anxiety when he had to calm himself down with medication when he was aroused by young girls that were new, that would come in new. They had it going on. It was a system. They had it going on. They had it in and out, in and out, like a fast food restaurant for real. Like, it was like a pyramid type of scheme, like going all the way up. If you make it up to the tippity top, you may even be one of his side chicks. Or so at midnight or at night, during the nighttime, he would text one of these girls. He had a relationship with one of these girls that didn't have a tight relationship with their family. They weren't really rich. They weren't really all of that. But they got themselves involved in this guy, like I said, the vulnerable people, the vulnerable families, the vulnerable kids and mother. But he would talk to this girl as if it was his best friend. He would be engaging with this girl, and I'm sure his plans was to continue this relationship at her young age until she got probably 16, 18, and that would have been one of his sugar babies, and eventually she would have been mesmerized and hypnotized to his spirit, to his energy, and to his his catering. He would cater to her. He would give her anything she wanted, all the sweets she wanted, all the glitz and glams the little girls ever wanted. She would get it. And so yes, I'm sorry, shit keep coming and I can't stop, and it's kind of like, okay, he got rough with one. There we go. There it is. I was trying to say it. He got rough with one of the girls. One of the girls he held hostage. I feel like he was hallucinating. No. He was not even on anything at that moment. I feel like he was. I feel it. He was just crazy. Like, listen, if you have a psycho that is obsessed with these little girls and their features and their skin, their body and everything about them, their voice, their innocent voice, their nails, their fingers, it's kind of like he was obsessed with their toes, their feet, their whole little body. It was kind of like the little body that he could just grab and just suck it all in. He would think of like that. And it was one in particular, he he lost his control with her. He couldn't hold his composure. He was very hungry for her spirit. It is so nasty. He was hungry for her spirit. That shit came out. That demon came out. He was hungry. I feel like the universe, I feel like spirit, the universe, the Lord was freaking right there by her side, because he almost could have hurt her, like really badly. Like he could have almost hurt her badly. And it was because he something took control. That demon, that spirit took control of him and just went berserk and would not let her go. It terrorized her. It tortured her. She was stuck. She was held hostage. She couldn't get out. It was like a damn zombie. He was a zombie fiending for her blood, and it wasn't pretty. And that little girl, she didn't even say anything to anyone. It was the way she came off, how she came off to her family and people that knew her, and she had to get some help. She was getting some help. They were getting her help. They were taking their time with her because she did not want to be around this man. She did not want to go back. She did not want to stick around or none of that. I feel it. I'm seeing it. I'm feeling it. Like, she didn't want to stick around or any of that. She first of all, she was tricked by him. This is one in particular where I feel like he treated her as a daughter at first. You know, he treated her like Uncle so-and-so, or, you know, you little daughter, and he kind of looked out for her. She looked up to him. She trusted him, and he couldn't hold that composure at that time. And that mother that was so dump bricks for brain. My teacher used to call me that. That's so crazy, bricks for brain. Look at me now. Can read your whole soul, probably, teacher. Shame on your ass. But anyway, but the mother was in for it because of the benefits. She was just letting her go. She was just trusting this man, Ian Rylett. She was trusting him because of the benefits. And one thing about this mother, she already knew in her gut something wasn't right. But guess what she did? She kept flowing, because the woman that recruited her gave her that image of, you're good. This is a family thing. We want to see our women win. We want to see our little young Marilyn Monroes. On God, they thought these little girls was for like a Marilyn Monroe in the future. It was kind of like they were trying to build these girls up to be young, sexy vixen women. Like they were building them up to be these exotic women. That's what they were trying to do. And one of the mothers just went with it because all she seen was dollar signs. And okay, so there was a trip here. This was a bit of a hidden information. This was like a piece of hidden information. And I feel like these girls couldn't speak for themselves, but this was a trip where they went on a trip. They went out of state for a couple of days or weeks, and this girl was being taken advantage of on this trip, like badly, to the point where I feel like they threatened her to not speak when she returned. Like they threatened her to not speak when she returned. And also they lost contact with this girl's parents. They lost contact with the parents for like just a couple of days, not too long. And their excuse was it was business. They were so busy. They were so busy filming, producing, shooting, things in that nature. But they were actually like, that was their little toy. That was their little. So this is where the blood happens. This is where the blood happens. When this girl was taken advantage of. That's when the blood was happening. Oh yeah, they were partying. There were drinks involved. There were alcohol. There were a lot of drugs there on the scene. He lost his mind as well. He lost his mind, and then there was a female with him. And during that time when he lost his mind and he took advantage of that little girl, without her conscious, without her awareness or her agreeing or being receptive of whatever it was he was wanting to do, which we all know what that was, in the shower as well. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's a part of that energy there. We don't really care about that. It's hurting my brain. Okay. There we have it. He was groomed. He was groomed from a childhood And he just took off running with that. He was groomed already from a childhood. Someone in his family, an uncle, an older man, would give him money, would give him things, and mix his. You know what? This person was very not a good guardian around him. They used to lace his drink, put things in his drink, and make him move, make him do things around them. Just take advantage of him. And I feel like that's where it came from. That's where it all started. He was already groomed to give money to receive. He was already groomed like that. So these little girls, that was easy for him. That was a piece of cake. He remembered it as a child, and now it's like he has been groomed and he know what to do with it now. One thing about him as his mother, he was taken advantage of as a child repeatedly. And guess what? The mama was so bitter. I feel like the mother didn't pay no attention to him as much as she should, let alone father figure. They didn't give a damn. And she was so busy trying to fight for different bodies in her life. She didn't have time to do that. She would drop him off and leave him around certain men in her family, and it was one in particular that really took advantage. That's like something that they were cursed with that type of what is it called? Damn, they were cursed with that type of curse. I guess that's the word I'm looking for, curse. They were cursed with that incest spirit, evil spirit, sexual energy spirit. Like they were cursed with. Okay. Oh yeah, I was finna say a grandfather of his introduced. That's where it began. Nasty as, bisexual grandfather, we're gonna say. And to close it out, to get ready to close it out, because it's like, we don't want to dig into what he was doing. We don't want that. We just want to share, give a little insight. I'm sorry, I'm listening, because the woman is still taking off with all this information, all of these things, all of the intention of the company, the modeling, the industry. She is still out there taking off with it. She still have all the information. She still have money behind it, and she's still thinking and plotting about. She's still thinking about plotting and taking off with this in a different way, in a different type of energy, and maybe even different genre. Have you said she's finna dig this up and continue it on in a different way. She is continuing this ritual. I'm gonna say it's a ritual, because that's exactly what it is if you pray over young girls. But now she's finna do it in a different way. She's finna try to manipulate this same business and company in a different way. And who knows who with her on it? Who knows who gonna be with her on it? And what is that? Who knows who gonna be with her on it? Well, and then that is it. In Rylett. Let me know if y'all have any more questions. So listen, remember, he played extra crazy, although he was a little psyched out. Used to take medication or whatever. But he played crazy for a reason. He played crazy. He also was silent. Like, he always was just chilled and quiet and discreet and just mysterious looking. And his energy was very like, because he knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew where he was getting at with it. He knew his full intention. He was going to have a lot of sugar babies, and they were going to be with it at the age when they got to that age. One thing about that woman he had behind him, she was the boss. She was the boss. She was very aggressive as well, especially to him behind closed doors, when he would do things that could get them seen or caught, or say certain things or act in a different way out of the norm around people, around those families.